Now, most small business owners can identify with issues of credit, as it's about how half of the business may likely get done, especially if the business is sales. Now, of course, usually many businesses have all these things that they talk about. No credit today, come tomorrow, or you have signs like that. But anyway, Sharif Gbadamosi is a financial expert, and he's here to talk to us about how to deal with credit. Yep. Now, the last time you were here, you talked about the fact that as much as possible, people shouldn't do business on credit, especially small businesses because it's difficult to get your money back.
That's right.
But here, you want to talk to us this morning about
credit management.
How to manage credit in the case where, you really can't do without, selling on credit. Otherwise, a lot of these things stay with you. Can you just give us a background on that, and then we'll just begin to address some of the issues?
Okay. There are some small businesses. Well, we mentioned last time that most SMEs that tend to deal with fast-moving consumer goods should really stay off credit, because it's going to be the turnover of their products is going to be very daunting for them to be able to deal with that and continue.
Exactly.
So, but there are some people that are selling goods or services that they can't really avoid selling on credit, because at the end of the day, we all want to make a sale. So in some cases, they have to extend some level of credit, but there's a way in which they can actually structure this credit management to ensure that the businesses don't actually get in trouble in future.
Yeah. So let's talk about these ways, because, I mean, we don't have much time, but I want us to, get to the meat of the matter. So I'm selling shoes, a pair of shoes or whatever it is, and it's 10,000 naira. And you don't have 10,000 naira immediately.
Yes.
And then, so I talk to you about a payment plan, or what happens?
You can organize a payment plan for your customers. You can say to them that, okay, you can offset the 10,000 naira over 5 weeks, for instance, if you can manage 2,000 naira per week, depending on the customer's cash flow. Or you can tell the customer, you know what, give me half the money now, 5,000, and you can give me the remaining a month from now, 30 days. Okay. So you can give them that. So there are many different ways in which an organization can structure, but each customer must be treated on their own merit. It's not everybody you would extend this kind of credit to. Some customers will be able to pay upfront. Some customers will be able to would want to take the payment plan, and some customers will tell you, okay, you know what? Instead of it depends if it's a business-to-business engagement. Where I am selling to another business and they have something I need. You might actually orchestrate a barter trade where you can offset as well. So there's a possibility for that as well.
So I like this idea. So I think maybe where a lot of the small businesses are lacking is that there's actually no structure.
There's no structure
for this credit system. So for instance, in the bigger organizations, so maybe like insurance companies, they come to you and they collect 10,000 naira per month because there's already a document that says at the end of the month I'm going to collect 10,000. So I think it's for, are you saying that it's for small businesses to then structure their credit system in such a manner?
Yes, small businesses have to structure their credit systems. Again, depending on what they're selling and also depending on the customer itself. You can set credit limits and say, okay, you know what, from a risk perspective, because credit is a risk to your business, you might not be able to realize that cash. So what happens, you can tell yourself that, okay, if I'm selling shoes that cost 10,000 naira, I would probably, and someone is buying maybe 2, 3, I have a customer, and I'll probably say that, okay, I can extend credit to you to maybe 1.5, maybe 15,000. In which case, the person has to be able to pay another 15,000, depending again on the individual. Each person has their own risk profile, risk exposure. So as a company, I wouldn't necessarily have a blanket rule for everybody.
Okay.
I would actually say, depending on who the customer is, I might do this for them.
But isn't a blanket rule better, such that most customers already know that I should normally pay 3 times for this? So that anyone you deal with, you're dealing with them at that level. That okay, we're going to be paying 3 months for whatever it is that we're buying from you.
Again, it depends on what it is. A blanket rule might work, yes. And everybody will say, okay, we know that this is how we have to pay. Like, for instance, real estate. They'll tell you that you put a 20% deposit down.
Exactly.
And you pay for the remaining
maybe 1 year, 2 years.
That's fine, because real estate is a huge sum of money. And not everybody has that kind of cash flow floating around in their bank account. But when you're dealing with things like shoes, really, the cost involved is really not that high. But you have more of a tendency for people to default with that. Because with real estate, you do your background check, you do your due diligence, you find out who this person is, what their background is, you find out where they work, you find out what sort of income that they have and things like that. But with shoes, people walk off the streets, I can't start doing a background check on that person, it gets expensive. So in that case, I have to have a little bit more of a strict policy to say, okay, you know what, I can't really afford to do too much with this person. I can afford to lose 5,000 naira out of 20. Right, and give that up. Risk losing.
Right.
Doesn't necessarily mean that I will lose
So you
it.
put something down and then you come back at maybe a
Come
later
back
date
and pay later on.
And
But in such situations, the person has to give you some form of collateral because we don't really have that good of a database in Nigeria. So how would I know where this person is, how they're going to pay back? So in such cases, that's why it's difficult to actually.
So I think I like the idea of collateral because look, again, it's small businesses.
Yeah.
My total capital might not be more than 100,000.
Yeah.
And if I'm giving out credit, I need to be able to hold on to something that says,
absolutely,
when
this
you default,
person, yeah,
you know, maybe once or twice, then I'll be able to sell this and make that money back.
That's right.
That's really important. I wanted to talk to you about something about layaway plans, but probably that will be for a later date.
Yeah.
Still for small businesses as well, where I don't part with the product.
Yep.
Until you finish paying.
Until you finish paying.
But sometimes you know how it is. Again, it's small products, fast-moving consumer goods. I need it today.
It's difficult to do it with those.
Yeah.
It's more with long-term goods that you buy today and you're likely to use it for a year, 2 years, 3 years before you replace.
Right.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Sheriff Gwadanmosi, for joining us. The time was short today, but I think we've been able to do justice to that, and hopefully we'll talk about some other issues relating with credit later on.
Absolutely.
Thank you so
very much.